This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
The Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
Hey, what up? Happy Wednesday, the Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center. Montana state law says it is your vehicle, it is your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center. Here inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave on a Wednesday, and big show coming up today. We're going to check in a couple of our favorite interviews from over the weekend as we'll chat with Travis Lulay. We'll hear our conversation with him. And also, we'll hear from Dan Carpenter. So we got a Cat and a Grizz on today, and get their thoughts on going into the Montana Football Hall of Fame and playing in the pros. So there's that coming up. Also, we're going to talk with Lance Hartzler from 406mtsports.com. He is the beat writer for the Grizzlies, and we had him on about a year ago, but he was talking then, covering Northern Arizona. Now he's in Missoula, but the name, image, likeness officially starts tomorrow. So we'll talk to him about that. How does it affect the Cats? How does it affect the Grizz? What does it mean moving forward and going forward like that? So with that. All right. We also have On This Day in History and much more coming up. But we will talk some NIL, like I said, with Lance Hartzler. But we're going to start by chatting about Helena and Kendrick Legion Field. So the City Commission has approved a lot of money for upgrades at Kendrick Legion Field. The city owns the stadium. The preliminary budget that was announced yesterday includes $125,000 for field turf and $95,000 for replacing the bleachers. I mean, the stadium's old. It was built in 1932. Now you've got 3 American Legion baseball teams using it. The Reps, the Senators, and the Independents, including tonight when the Senators take on the Great Falls Chargers at 7 o'clock in a conference game. And then you got the Keith Sell tournament this weekend. But a lot of action is on that field. Now, the $250,000, or the field turf costs $250,000. So therefore, the city's going to pay for half, and I think they want the Helena American Legion to come up with the other half. Now, the Expedition League wants to come here. They're in Butte. What are they, the Mining City Tommy Knockers? They want to come to Helena. And we'll see if that happens. But a lot of the Legion argument was there's too much use on the field. And you know, the Helena Brewers are no longer here. The Legion program would just love to have that field by itself. But they have to, I mean, it's the city's field. And look, I get it. The Legion team, I love Legion baseball. I played it. Love it. We'll have Senators coach John Burnett on tomorrow. But the city has to come up with some. The Legion teams have to come up with some money. And the Expedition League is still wanting to come here. And Legion's lease expires at the end of 2021. And I know that they would like to keep it in themselves. But will the Expedition League, or Wood Bat League, come here? The Expedition League says, look, it's got to have, it's got to have the field turf. Helena Senators got to have the field turf. So we'll see if it happens. It costs about $250,000 per year to operate Helena Legion baseball. And I'm against the turf for baseball. I think it takes away from the game a little bit. I played at Kendrick when I played for the Bozeman Bucks. It's a great field. And this was 30 years ago, and it's been redone much better than it was 30 years ago. But there's just something about the dirt. There's something about grass. And, field turf's great for football, probably for soccer, but not for baseball. So I would be against the field turf. I am for replacing the seats, those orange, decrepit Oakland Coliseum seats. They're ugly, and they need to be gone. They're falling apart. They're cracked. Some of them are unsafe. Just get rid of those. So that's my thoughts. You can weigh in anytime at JWalkerSports on the Twitter. You can email Jason at JasonWalkerShow.com, Facebook as well, and go from there. Senators play tonight after winning down in Bozeman over the weekend. Now they're home tonight, taking on Great Falls in a conference game. And then you got the Keith Sell coming up this week, which is always a fun, hot weekend of baseball, and it's going to be fun and hot weekend of baseball. Will fireworks happen across the state? We'll see. That'd be interesting. Well, Sheriff Leo Dutton on tomorrow, by the way, to talk about firework safety, fire prevention. I mean, it's heating up in a hurry here in Montana. Tomorrow we're also going to chat with John Burnett, like I said, from the Helena Senators. So there you go. All right, so over the weekend we had fun down in Billings. The Montana Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We're going to hear from Dan Carpenter in a little bit, but I want to step back in case you missed it Saturday. Here's our conversation we had with Bobcat great Travis Lulay.
Gosh, got a chance to talk with this guy a little bit last night. If you're a Bobcat fan, you'll recognize him. Even if you're not, you'll recognize him. The great Travis Lulay. How are you, my friend?
I am great, Jason. Good to be on the show.
Hey, I can't not do the Lulay.
Go ahead.
Did you ever get sick of hearing that?
No. Well, there was a time or two when I try to sneak in somewhere and somebody would recognize me and start it up, and I'm exposed. I can't sneak out of here. I'm going to be talking to people for a few more minutes.
So, like the R-Bar, for instance, maybe?
For instance. Or Spectators.
Or Specs, yeah. There was lots of great places in those. Yeah. How's retirement?
It's been good. I get beat up a lot less, so that's a plus. No, it's been good. The transition to life after football has been good. You get stuck in it for so long, and, I've heard it described, and I think it's pretty accurate. It's like you're in the eye of the storm, and you don't really see what's going on outside because it's so intense focus, and the competition's so high, and you always got to be on your game, and they literally film everything we do, right? So you're just always on. And the emotional highs are really high, and the lows are really low, and so you just ride that roller coaster. And so, at the end, I worked for the club for a year as I was transitioning out of playing after I retired, and I just knew, that home was calling, Oregon was calling. My wife and I went to high school together, so she has family there. My brother and sister-in-law, my brother married an Anaconda girl, actually brought her back to Oregon. So, he has 4 girls. I have 3 girls. That's what we do, make little girls apparently. But we're raising our kids around the cousins and grandparents and stuff, and so that's been really good. It feels good. I haven't been, it's a bit of a scary ledge to step off outside of the world of pro football, which I've been in for so long, and but it's been a really good transition the last year and a half.
I may know the answer to this, but favorite moment in the Bobcat uniform?
You might know the moment. Yeah, would have been November of 2002 in Missoula.
Okay, yeah, that was
particularly in hindsight, that was pretty special. And not knowing, I joke that probably the best recruiting pitch Montana State did when they were seeking me out was to not tell me the streak against the rival Montana Grizzlies. So, and so I actually, this is no joke. I learned that during training camp that year. I had a buddy from Helena, and he was, we're in the students, and he's like, we got to do something about this streak. And I'm, what streak? What are we talking about? He's like, oh, well, you don't know. We haven't beat, Montana State hasn't beat Montana since 1984. I was like, holy cow, yeah, we got to, what are we doing? So to be a part of the team that was able to win and then win 3 out of 4, and it just kind of, you see where the program's at now and the money that's been infused there and the stadium expansion, it's bowled in, it's turfed out, there's lights. I mean, the brand new athletic complex, football athletic complex and things going in. I mean, it's really exciting, and you wear a little bit of pride at being an alum, seeing what's happening in Bozeman. So hopefully Coach Brent Vegan can continue that thing on the right train. So looking back, it was fun to be a part of, an era of the program that kept the ball rolling in the right direction.
And really got it started, going forward. I don't know if I asked you this last night. How long was the run against NAU at Bobcat Stadium?
Was
it 60 or 64?
I don't remember the length of the run. I just remember the timing of the run. And there was 40 seconds left. The game looked over. Had a long run for a touchdown, and then it was like, well, we still got to get an onside kick, score again. And we did. Yeah. Nate Cook had a perfect onside kick. Corey Smith recovered. I remember sliding on our sideline. We got the ball back on the 40 with 25 seconds or something, and scrambled once, got a completion here, and then ended up sneaking it in for the game winner. That was a good one. That's a fun one. I could talk about that game for a long time.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
All right, I got to know, did you guys on the sidelines, could you hear the first down call from this press box? And then obviously the students got super involved.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. First down's good. Whenever you're hearing first downs, we're on the field.
Right.
I was geared up. I was getting the next play, but I wanted to hear it. Yeah.
So you're like, hold on, coach. Wait a second.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Just signal it to me, because if you're talking when they're hollering, I can't get the play out.
Oh my gosh. All right. So how often do you get back to Bozeman? How many games do you attend now?
I'd love to get to more. I mean, honestly, last year didn't happen.
Right.
And the year prior, I was still working for the Lions football club, the BC Lions in Canada. So I was still tied down to the games. I was doing some media stuff, doing a little pregame radio show. And then I traveled a handful of times. So I did come back to one game that year. Obviously, when I was playing, I could never get back because we were playing games. So I've only been to, since my brother graduated in 2008, I saw a handful of those games because I was in 2007, I was on the injured reserve with the Seahawks, so I could come to a good bit of those games. In 2008, I saw a game or two in between football. Spent most of that season with the Seahawks in 2008, and then I went to one game in 2011. Right after we won the Grey Cup, actually, the Bobcats were hosting a quarterfinal game, I want to say, so they were still alive, still playing. So I saw that game. It was a win in Bozeman, and then I didn't go again until the fall of 19, and I got invited back, and they did a little tribute to having retired that spring. So those are 2 games I've been to in the last 12 years. So I hope to get to more. It was so dang fun to get back. Obviously I got a lot of guys from my era that are now season ticket holders and boosters and fans and whatnot, and so it's just obviously I still see so many familiar faces. We got my wife and I's home base. After I graduated, we got married right out of college, and home base was in Bozeman for us. So the first 4 or 5 years I was playing professionally, I was chasing football from home in Bozeman. And so we still have a lot of great relationships there. So, I look for an excuse to get back whenever I can.
Oh, man. I would love I got to get you on the show again when we can have more time.
Let's do it.
Because I know you got to go.
Give me a holler, you bet. Yeah, I'm making the rounds today, but whenever you got a chance.
Congratulations on the induction.
Yep.
I know it means a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. Really, tremendous group of individuals. And this Montana Football Hall of Fame is a pretty special thing to now get to be a part of. So I'm humbled.
Travis Lulay, everybody. Appreciate it, man. Take care.
You bet.
That was Travis Lulay joining us from Billings Saturday at the media opportunity for all the Hall of Fame inductees for the Montana Football Hall of Fame. Lots of fun. I can't wait. We're going to get him back on when we can have a full length conversation, because I want to hear more stories from that NAU game. Sitting in Bobcat Stadium and watching this thing happen, and you're just like everybody else thinking, the Cats are going to lose, and then all of a sudden he rips off like a 60-yard touchdown run, and then the onside kick, and then and the Cats win. It was just magical, and Travis Lulay really started, along with the rest of the guys on that 2002-2006 teams, the run that they're on right now. That was where the foundation really got built, and then continued into a semifinal run a couple years ago. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. When we do, we're going to check in with Lance Hartzler. Lance is working for 406mtsports.com over in Missoula, covering the Grizz, and the NIL passed today, name, image, and likeness. It starts tomorrow. How will it affect the Cats and the Grizz? We'll talk to Lance Hartzler next. Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Hey, welcome back. It's a Wednesday. Beautiful. Like 93, I think, right now. Here in Helena. 95.4 here in Helena. Love it. You give me the heat every day. Jason Walker Show presented by Capital Collision Center. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. You can listen to us Podbean, Network One Sports, TreasureStateRadio.com. And if you miss anything, always go to JasonWalkerShow.com for anything else. We're going to talk to Grizz legend, Helena High legend, Dan Carpenter coming up here in a little bit, and also on this day in history. But I want to welcome in, I don't know, is this the second time you've been on? But the first time living in Montana. It is 406mtsports.com sports writer for the Missoulian, Lance Hartzler. How are you?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I think it's the second time. The first time you had me on was about last year, around this time last summer, when I wrote that athletic fee-related story back at the Arizona Daily Sun.
and how did that go for you?
It went well. I loved it. Yeah. And yeah, ever since then, obviously things have been well. Now I find myself in Montana.
I was shocked a little bit when I saw that, because with Jordy Hansen moving over to the news side, they're like, well, we need a sports writer, and they got a really good one in you, I think.
I like to think so. I'm all right.
Hey, you got thrown right into the mix, though, man, when you got here with state tournaments and softball and track, and then everything else happening in April and May. It just kind of welcome to Montana and high school sports right away.
Yeah, exactly. One of the first things I covered was a Riverbank marathon, and then immediately get into state track and just the kind of downturn of state championship stuff. It was about the right time to get in, because now things are chill. A lot of long-term projects, and I like that.
Absolutely, as Lance Hartzler joins us here from the Missoulian. But you didn't get to cover high school sports a whole lot last year in Arizona. At least you get to cover high school sports in Montana.
Yeah, exactly. That was honestly refreshing. I hadn't covered a track meet for a good probably year and a half, 2 years, and then I come to Missoula and I cover 4 in like 5 days.
Did you forget what it was like and how fast these guys are?
Honestly, I forgot how much I love tracks. I actually ran it in high school, and I wanted to run it in college, but like I realized, oh yeah, I like this sport.
Are you a heat guy? Because I know it's about 95 over in Missoula too. Do you like the heat?
I like the heat. I'm from Phoenix. I grew up in the 115, molded by it, but I escaped it for a reason.
I love the heat, man. I'll take it. I'll go to Phoenix all day long. Lance Hartzler joining us from the Missoulian. All right. Name, image, likeness. We knew it was coming. It's been talked about for about 5 years. It finally goes into effect tomorrow. Break down how it affects each state, because is it different still?
Right. It's weird because, right, you mentioned it, how the NCAA this has been a work in progress for what feels like ages.
Right.
It's been since before I was in college when this was really first brought up by the NCAA, and even well before that. Basically, the NCAA just said, don't listen to our current rules. You can make money off your own name, image, and likeness no matter what. If you are in a state that does not have a legislation, have at it. You're not violating NCAA policies. Go make money off your own name. Go get an endorsement from a local bar. Go get something from a restaurant. Go show up for a paid endorsement. You can now sell your autograph. It's little things like that. But if you're in a state like Montana, for instance, even though the law doesn't go into effect till 2023, your state law still takes precedent. So if the state law says other things that you can't do those things. I don't know the specifics on the Montana law yet. I'm still trying to dive into it, unfortunately. But knowing that the law doesn't go into effect till 2023, Montana is with a lot of the other states. But I think some of the southern states like Alabama, they go into effect tomorrow. So those laws will take precedent there.
Well, who's the J-Bo, the Bohannon kid from, was it Iowa, that's going to go to a fireworks? Yeah. Did you see that? He's going to a fireworks stand tomorrow, selling raffle tickets for his shoes, but he's making money immediately.
Yeah, you can immediately go do those type of things. The NCAA put out a statement saying you can't have prior stuff lined up in deals, but clearly they're not enforcing that because he already has something lined up to happen after tomorrow. So I'm kind of intrigued the NCAA actually enforces that. I'm doubtful, obviously.
Hey, I saw
you just go make money.
Right.
You can have your own trademark. I think a Wisconsin player he has his own trademark now.
Lance Hartzler joining us. I'm just throwing up something I saw from Sports Illustrated, but it was Ross Dellinger from SI.com, but he basically was like, NCAA says you can do it, but really we don't want you to. Is that, basically what it is?
Yeah, that kind of lines up with the vibe I've gotten to. I think most schools are all for it, but the NCAA is still trying to clutch their pearls with amateurism.
Oh, sure. Lance Hartzler, our guest here, Missoulian sports reporter, Jason Walker Show. You covering the Grizz basketball? And if Frank still has football, or you got football?
No, I'm doing all basketball. I'll help with football if need be, but I'm here to cover basketball for the most part.
Gotcha, and some preps. All right, so how does this affect schools like Montana and Montana State? And I know we still have, 2 years, I guess, before it really affects them. But if you're the quarterback, like I saw John Tester say, if you're the quarterback for the Cats or Grizz, everybody knows who you are.
Yep.
So they're going to make more money. How does it affect the rest of these programs? And is there going to be equality across the board?
I think there will be, actually. Kent Haslam and I talked about it a little bit. It wasn't the entire subject of our conversation a week ago. I wrote a story shortly after the SCOTUS ruling regarding the educational benefits that now schools can give to athletes. They can basically pay for an athlete's laptop, graduate internships, study abroad programs. Now, I actually, during that interview, mentioned, hey, what about NIL? I know obviously it's a week ahead. He thinks there's going to be a pretty even footing because there's obviously high demand for the women's athletes, high demand for the non-revenue sports such as soccer, such as volleyball, cross country. There's still names and they can still have a following. They'll get something. Obviously, the quarterback at UM, that's the big guy. Quarterback at MSU, that's the major calling card. They might get the most money, but there's still going to be opportunities for local kids, especially someone on Twitter, I forgot their name, they pointed it out to me. A kid from, let's say, a small town, Havre, Montana. They can get an endorsement deal in Havre while still going to UM and get some money from just being a name in their hometown. I don't know if there's an athlete like that, but you get the point.
Right.
You can be a small town community kid and get some money just by showing up in your community and having like that hometown hero bus. That's an option. And that's an easy just pocket money for these kids to have.
I didn't think of it that way because I'm thinking of Bozeman, Missoula, car dealers, restaurants, things like that. But yeah, if you're from, Two Dot or Twin Bridges or wherever, you can make some bank in your hometown, I guess.
Exactly. You can. I don't know for sure, but from what I understand, you can use your school's name as well. You don't have to be vague and be like, "Oh, I'm a college quarterback." You're like, "No, I'm the UM quarterback." You can make that part of your likeness. It doesn't. I don't think that makes a difference. I need to check on that though.
Well, no, I think you're right.
That's
because
one of the many gray areas.
In the past, they were allowed to, like, you could get. I know, like, I talked to Wes Ross, a Great Falls Central coach, about his football camp earlier this month, and he had a quarterback or a player from the Grizz that played at Great Falls Central, but the guy couldn't say who he was. They couldn't promote him, and had this been tomorrow, they totally could have.
Yep, then that lines up. So now they can brand themselves exactly as they are. I'm the middle back for the UM women's soccer team. I'm the quarterback for the UM football, wide out for MSU. And at NAIA level, they've been doing it for a year. They passed that back in 2020.
Mm-hmm. And has the NCAA, so like has Kent Haslam or Leon Costello, have they seen how the NAIA has done it in the state of Montana? Now, granted, we had a COVID year where nobody was allowed in the stands. I don't know if that affected these kids making money.
That is something I'm looking into as we speak. I'm hoping to ask Kent Haslam that exact question pretty soon.
Yeah, because have they, I just want to know if they reached out to teams like Tech or Carroll or Western to see, hey, how did you guys do this? How are you doing it? Because the NAIA usually follows the NCAA. This time it was a little reversed.
Right. That usually doesn't happen. The NAIA took precedent, and now UM, MSU, they can look at those schools and say, all right, how did you craft your policies? Give us an idea.
And I think to me, and the NCAA is real big. Well, they say they're real big, like on Title IX, which they violate themselves left and right. We saw it with the volleyball tournament. We see it with softball championships. I mean, we see it left and right with basketball of big ones. But if let's go big time. Let's say that the quarterback of Alabama or the goalkeeper in soccer at Alabama, they're not going to make the same amount. How does Title IX play into the NIL, or does it?
Man, that's a great question. I think that's what schools are asking themselves right now. I think that's what the compliance officers are trying to figure out is how do we make sure we're not in violation of any other rules? Because I think with the NIL, the way it works, the schools aren't sending their athletes to get money. It's up to the athletes as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't really contradict because the schools are not providing that for them. The schools will provide, supposedly, some are doing this, they're working with firms to basically guide their athletes to show, hey, here's what you can do. Here's the best reporting process to make sure we're within our actual policies and you're not doing anything wrong. Then athletes are just on their own. If they want to make money, it's up to them. It's not really a UM is going to give opportunities. The NCAA just said, hey, we're not going to stop you from doing this.
Lance,
now, UM, MSU, Big Sky Conference, they can make their own rules, from what I understand, to limit or to specify what they can do.
Okay.
That's another question mark going forward of like what exactly does that look like. But for the most part, athletes can just have free roam to really make some money off their own name.
That's just nuts. Are you a fan of this?
Oh, I love it. I've been all for this since whenever really it first entered the mainstream discussion in like 5-6 years ago.
And I think what changed my mind is Lance Hartzler, our guest here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline, was last week I'm driving to Billings and I'm listening to some sports guys talking about this. And I was always on the side of, look, college, you're getting your scholarship, you get your school paid for, however much it is, academics, athletics, you don't need this. But what changed my mind was the fact that, that Sabrina from, science class can go out and get a full-time job. And sometimes in the case, like my daughter working 2 or 3 jobs to get through college, she can make money. She had scholarships. Now, her athletics wasn't paid for, but she didn't do athletics. But she had academic scholarships. They're still allowed to go make money. So that was, I never thought about it for all those years until last week was going, wait a sec. If my daughter can go get a job, why can't Joe Blow, or why, she can make money. She can go, sell, she can get a patent if she wanted and make money off of it. Why can't an athlete? Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does. Why it puts athletes on a different level. It takes away the student, and it just goes against what the NCAA has always preached. It puts them on a completely different level than a normal athlete, saying they can't make money like a normal student would, all because they get their school paid for. Well, a normal student does with academic scholarships. I know plenty of non-athletes that had full ride scholarships.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one way to look at it too, though, and this was part of my argument for all these years was, look, I know how many pairs of shoes, the football team players are getting, or the basketball team, the clothing, all this. There's a lot of benefits that these kids get. Now, the school's not making any money off my daughter, going to family therapy and sociology classes, but they're sure as hell making money on these student athletes, especially the revenue sports. So why not give back to the kids now? And I get it. I just don't want to see it getting too overblown where, you look at somebody at Alabama's going to get, let's say, the quarterback there gets $100,000. Well, how much is the quarterback at MSU going to get? It's
true. And that's the mark. That then becomes just a fact of the market. Like some people are going to be worth because they are more notable. They have, I'm throwing out a number, 1,000, 2,000 Twitter followers compared to a 5-star recruit who has 50. Mm-hmm. That's just the difference in how popular you are as an athlete and how good you are. But again, these kids have an opportunity that's kind of unique in Montana because there's no pro sports. People look to UM and MSU athletes as a really special level. I've learned that very quickly here. They see these people as a little bit higher than a lot of college communities would because there's no pro sports here outside of the paddleheads.
Well, how does this affect Lance Hartzler, our guest here? How does this affect recruiting now? Because this becomes, I think, a big recruiting pitch going, well, look, we've got such and such and such in our town. This town doesn't. You should come here because we can guarantee that you're going to make more money.
Something that Kent Haslam did say to me, the NCAA and everyone is trying to make sure it does not become almost like the recruiting inducements, which is another fancy way of saying the recruiting briberies that have happened and plagued NCAA sports ever since forever. Right. That's obviously something they don't want to happen. No pay for play, no inducements, but a school can still tout saying, hey, we have a department that can help you get endorsements. We have a system to get you money off your own likeness. That is a recruiting tool within the rules. And if UM has something set up like that, MSU, they can point to that and say, hey, we're going to get your name out there. We're going to help you do this and make yourself some money and give yourself a following. That way you can have success post-athletics. Because a lot of this, I think they're going to gear it towards that. This is post-athletic success for them to help them further their own lives. Because think about it. A lot of these athletes at UM, MSU aren't going to play pro sports.
Right.
A good select few are. It does happen. But for the most part, they're there to get their degrees. They are more so student than athletes than Alabama. That's well known. That's understand.
Sure.
And why not help them get some money and use it as a recruiting tool?
I'm a big fan of women's athletics, and I just don't want to see women suffer moving forward because of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want them to get screwed over more than they already have been.
Totally understandable. And I think that won't be as big of an issue as some think it. Kent Haslam actually used the exact phrase. I didn't put it in my story that I wrote up. He's all for one of his a women's athlete using their TikTok to promote themselves and make some money. Because I'm sure there's a good number that have very large followings on social media that I don't pay attention to. I'm on Twitter. That's it.
You're not on TikTok making videos?
I am not on TikTok. I'm only 25, but I'm too old for TikTok.
Dude, I don't even understand it, so I haven't even touched it. Lance Hartzler, our guest here. Dan Patrick, I was listening to him last week talking about this a little bit too, and he said, and then going back to the recruiting pitch is, kids go to schools that have Nike or Under Armour or whatever it is, whatever their favorite. And I think that now, that's been a recruiting tool for a long time. When Carroll switched over from Riddle to Nike, that was a huge deal 4 or 5 years ago. And I think that now becomes part of the recruiting pitch as well. Like, look, we're a Nike school. We've got this dealership that's going to pay you right off the top. I'm for it, but I'm still gun shy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm intrigued to see how it's implemented. There's a lot of gray area. We don't know exactly how it's going to look because the NCAA just finally said, after a lot of pressuring, a lot of issues, hey, no rule, have fun. And they kind of just left it up to everyone to figure it out in good old NCAA fashion. Have fun figuring it out. And now it's kind of up to individual schools and their conferences. And knowing the way the Big Sky Conference works, they're probably going to work together to create some policies that every Big Sky school will use. That's often what we've seen. That's what happened with COVID. What happened with other specific things. I wouldn't shock me if that's what the Big Sky does.
Well, and with
they
that,
went no comment when I asked last week, but now I think they're going to have to comment. Now the NCAA basically put it on them.
Yeah, exactly. And the Big Sky's usually out in front, really, of a lot of the conferences in Division One, with a lot of social
small ones. Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's the way to do it, is to come up with a conference-wide policy, whether it's Pac-12, Big Ten, whatever it is, or Big Sky, to where, Lance, you have to, so that it doesn't get, you don't have a school like Missoula, for instance, paying or getting more money for these student athletes than somebody like a Sac State or Portland State, Eastern Washington, which is poor as hell athletically. And so I think that's a smart idea by the Big Sky and Tom Wischersill. They have to come up with something, in my opinion.
I think it's giving all schools equal access to resources to show their athletes how they can profit off their own likeness. Because obviously a school cannot pay their athletes directly. That's not how this works. That's pay for play. That's still not okay. But boosters at a school supposedly can lend a hand, according to, I think, Ross Bellinger, tweeted it, or Nicole Auerbach from The Athletic. I think one of them showed that screen grab of the NCAA rules. Boosters have power in this, to where they can, because they're individuals that are giving charitable funds to schools. If they have an organization, they can pay an athlete to do something.
I bet
using that athlete's name and likeness.
Craig James would love to have been at SMU right now, and instead of back in the 80s. I did read an article, frontofficesports.com, Amanda Kristovich today, but this is one thing too. Forget D1, forget Cats Grizz. You look at an MSU Billings or a Division III school, which doesn't even have scholarships. How does this affect the smaller schools now? And will we? This is they're already at a disadvantage, like she says, but now it's even worse.
The thing is, they can now, I think from what I understand, the policy is D1, D2, and D3. They now can implement NIL. A D3 athlete can go make money off themselves. It's all across NCAA.
Right. But you're coming to the, like I said, it's Cats Grizz, but in the same state, you've got a Division II school that is not making near as much money. And I know they're not paying them, but you're already at a disadvantage at MSUB, and now you've got to deal with this as far as recruiting with, Montana or Montana State. You're not going to get those drop downs anymore, probably.
No, that's a good point. And you may not, because now kids are going to want to say, hey, I'm an athlete at UM. That's better for my own personal marketing than saying I'm an athlete at MSUB. That's a good point. I think that's just the easiest way to describe it. I may not like it. That's the market working, because if you're a more notorietable athlete, you can then get better endorsements. You can then make more money because you just happen to be a better athlete or you play at a bigger school. That's unfortunately how it's going to work. There's going to be disparity in that, but at least they have the option to try. I think that's the root of this. The NCAA is no longer stopping them from trying to make money off their own personal names.
I brought this up last. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. You finish. You're the guest. You're the guest. You go.
Just gonna finish saying, now they at least have the freedom to make money off their own selves. That's what the NCAA has finally allowed them to do.
I brought this up last year, I think, with Jordy Hansen, but one of my biggest fears, aside from what we've talked about already with the women's athletics, but on your own team, is that number one starter on the basketball team, the stud on the number one guy. Is there going to be animosity in locker rooms because the number 12 guy isn't going to get paid as much, or girl, or in football, it's going to be the quarterback, maybe the star linebacker, Jace Lewis, but then that guy that's, 86th on the roster or 82nd on the roster is not going to be making nearly as much. Will there be animosity in locker rooms, and how do coaches deal with this?
Man, that's a great point. I hadn't thought of that. I would hope that schools are able to get to their athletes that, hey, it's no use being jealous or frustrated that someone is able to get some more money just based off their athletic talents. But there might be some. I can't speak for athletes, and coaches are going to have to figure out a way how to handle that if it comes up. It sounds like a terrible thing to have to deal with, but I don't have to deal with it.
No, but we can report on it when it happens.
Exactly. I'll be sure to mention it if it comes up. I genuinely hope it doesn't, because that would just be unfortunate.
Right. Yeah, I don't want Travis DeCure to have to deal with that, or a Danny Sprinkle, and that's as a coach, are they more happy with the NIL passing or the transfer portals? Because that's a whole different topic, but it's causing the same amount of headaches at schools.
I can't speak for Travis DeCure. I've not asked him point blank quite yet. I've actually only met him once, and I've had a couple conversations on the side here and there since I moved here. But from my understanding, from what I know of other college coaches, they'll just roll with whatever the NCAA does at this point. Things are changing. I think they've accepted it.
Man, I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime, but like I said, I'm happy for these kids. I'm still a little gun shy, but I hope they figure it out. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. I'm happy this finally happened. The NCAA finally caved. Now it's just a matter of where do schools take it? How do athletes then implement this? Where does this grow? Obviously, they're not done. I'm sure there's going to be new policies. The NCAA set it themselves. This is an interim policy until federal legislation is adopted or the NCAA caves and writes their own rules.
Which is never going to happen. And then it may not happen in our lifetime because the NCAA and Mark Emmett are they're on top of stuff, right?
Oh, exactly. But it'll be an interesting thing to watch.
All right, what are we watching for from you here in the next coming weeks at 406mtsports.com?
Well, hopefully some more updates on NIL and how it actually affects the local schools. Very much hoping to work on some stuff on that. And in the meantime, just prepping for the fall sports season. You're seeing a lot of previews from myself and Frank Gogola and Bill Felt and the rest of the 406 guys.
Hey, tell Jordy hi. Are you an outdoors guy like him? Because he's kind of weird.
Yes, I am. I'm not as hippie as Jordan, but I am very outdoorsy.
Hippie, I like that because that's a strong word to use in Missoula there. But all right, what have you loved most about Missoula so far?
Not gonna lie, man. The restaurants. This is not a bad place to eat here.
The best place is closed.
Here is great.
What's
that? What's the best place?
Well, it was Hooters, but it closed. That was like the only reason to go to Missoula.
I love it.
See, I'm a Bobcat, so I can give Missoula a hard time. I did have a really good conversation with Coach Houck last week. You know who's really funny? Marty Morningwig. Holy cow.
Really?
You'll get a chance to meet him, I'm sure, over there, but because him and the family are living there now. But that was a fun weekend with the Morningwigs.
No, I'm sure.
And then Brent Musburger dropping F-bombs. It was just fantastic. So you think we have to worry about it when we're on the air, but I mean, this guy's like 83, but still smart as an arrow.
He doesn't care anymore. He'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah, whatever. He's doing the voice of the Raiders.
Yeah, apparently I didn't know that.
Yeah, I forgot all about that, but yeah. Hey, appreciate it. Stay in touch. We're going to get you on a lot during the prep season because we'll talk a lot of preps over there. Because you got the defending state champs in football, and that's a pretty big deal. So.
Yeah, 1,000 other state champs, according to what I've been told.
Well, Capital girls got volleyball and basketball.
Right.
Sentinel football. Sentinel's really good, and Hellgate's good in other stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Sentinel track, and there's obviously that big hearing coming up in 2 weeks regarding Sentinel track. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, real quick, fill us in on that.
So as far as I know, it is still going to be a court hearing. I'm looking into more info about it to see what exactly is going on, but there's still contention about Sentinel's results regarding Brooke Stainer and exactly how many events she competed in at divisionals. It's very much a toss-up. I'm confused about it because the rules don't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, I thought you could compete
honest.
in as many as you wanted, but you could only go to state in 5.
Right. And apparently she didn't run in some, supposedly, but that counted as running because she had already previously qualified, which then counts as running. And it doesn't. It's just a lot of hoops that didn't make quite a lot of sense to me. I'm hoping someone can explain it to me soon.
Well, when you find out, explain it to us, will you?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
All right, man. Hey, appreciate the time. Glad you're in Montana now, and we'll have to hit the golf course soon.
Appreciate it, man. Sounds good to me. Looking forward to it.
All right, that is Lance Hartzler joining us here from 406mtsports.com, the Missoulian, talking NIL and how it's going to affect the state and the Cats and the Grizz and everybody else moving forward. But it'll be interesting. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Dan Carpenter joins us next. Jason Walker Show.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Welcome back. Jason Walker Show. Presented by Capital Collision Center. We have some great sponsors. Auto Concepts. Speaker Sprinklers. Man. Nitro Green. Dinner's Done Right. Just some fantastic ones. Obviously, Major Mortgage, State Farm, Mike Miller, State Farm. All of our guests appear via the Mike Miller State Farm hotline, and that includes our next one. He was a pretty good kicker at Helena High. He was a very good kicker for the Grizz, and he had a very good career in the NFL. And Dan Carpenter joins us now here on the Jason Walker Show.
How are you? Good. Jason Walker. Jason, it's nice to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Honor, really. Surprised, but truly honored. You know, great names before us, and great group of names together now. So it really is amazing. You know, it's amazing to get all these guys together in a group, you know, and in Billings, and you know, it's a special night, and been here last year, or 2 years ago, sure. I suppose, for the last event, and you know, I'm super excited to be able to come back in the future.
Yeah, no, this is great. Last night was a blast. The stories that are being told that we can never share, and those are super fun.
That's truly the best part of it. You know, you get to interact with guys, you know, that usually you see for 10 minutes after a game or before a game or something or whatever, you know, and but now you get together and you get to share the stories, you know. Those are always the best parts. you get to hear stories that you'd never hear anywhere else. So it's great to get guys together.
Yeah. Hey, when you're playing at Helena High, did you dream that you were? I mean, could you have imagined the career you were going to have?
No, never. I was just an average boy that grew up in Montana. You know, I wasn't. There's nothing special about anything I did. You know, I was just. I never really considered it would happen. You know, everybody. All the kids have dreams, you know,
Sure.
me included, you know. Basketball, I was Michael Jordan when I played basketball, you know. I was, you know, it didn't matter, you know, baseball, you know, you're always going to hit the game-winning grand slam with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, you know, and it's just, you know, every kid's got all those dreams. So, no, it was truly amazing that something like that actually happened.
Favorite story you can tell about playing in the NFL?
Yeah, that you can tell. You have to say that part, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let me know. So what was your aha moment? Like, I've arrived.
I don't know. I think it's just when you walk out for the first game, you know, and walk out on the field, and you know, as a kicker, obviously I'm out earlier, you know, and it's like, so I could get that aha moment out of the way, I guess, a little earlier than, you know, the rest of the guys. So getting out there and just, you know, looking around, and you know, you look at these stadiums and they seat, you know, up to 80,000 more, you know, and it's amazing. And you see them filled up with people screaming, and so I think that was kind of, you know, the moment. It's like, oh yeah, wow, look at this place. This is pretty neat. You know, I actually get to play here, and all these people are going to stare at me, and then you go, oh, that's kind of, oh, geez, well, no. All right, I should stop thinking about that. Okay, back to football.
It's a little different than playing a vigilante.
Yeah, you know, it is. Yeah, a little different, you know, but, you know, University of Montana, that's a great place to prep for the future there. You know, it's a great venue, great fans, you know, great place to play, and still one of the loudest places I think I've ever been.
Yeah, I've never been to a game there.
Oh, man.
I was the PA announcer for the Bobcats.
I just said earlier that if you haven't been to a game there, it's something to experience. You know, and I'm guilty. I haven't been back for a game since I left, and every year, you know, every fall, I'm going. I got to pick games, get there, and something always comes up, you know, and it's getting harder and harder, but I got to get out there and go visit again.
Well, maybe we'll go together, because I've never been.
I could show you around.
I'm sure. Well, I was the PA guy in Bozeman, so with the Bobcats.
Yeah, that's kind of tough then. Can't be two places at once.
Well, that, and it's the school across, you know, it's the other school.
Yeah, across the way, the ones we don't talk about.
Yeah. This is just awesome. Did you golf yesterday?
I did not. Okay. No, it was busy time, and back home, you know, at the ranch, and so just, you know, animals to take care of, and it's tough to get away, and we would have had to come down probably a whole day ahead in advance, you know. So we came down, make it here for the VIP party last night, and like I said, get to listen to some stories, tell a couple, and you know, and enjoy the night.
What's the hardest you got hit? Because kickers aren't known for being super tough.
I probably did it to myself, you know, trying to tackle somebody or something. That's probably the worst time, you know. Yeah. Well, there's a reason that some of the guys just get out of the way, you know. We always look like fools half the time. Well, that's because everyone else are, you know, athletes, and
you're kickers. Kickers are athletes too.
We're made to, yes, we're athletic, just in a different way.
Yeah, Rory Perez, when he was punting for the Cats, so punters are people.
Yeah, well, we are. Different breed, but we are. You know, I mean, well, and I laugh. You get to the NFL, you say, oh yeah, well, yeah, that guy that you kick the ball to, he gets paid to make people miss. That can run really fast and tackle and practice all that stuff. Well, we don't.
Yeah. you don't even get to hang out with the team.
You know, we don't practice the tackling and all that stuff, and we're not fast. Some are fast. I'm not fast. But, so I don't feel that bad if they make me look like a fool.
Okay, how many did you have to try to tackle?
Oh, not too many. Not very many.
When you see that happen and you go, "Oh, I'm gonna have to go I'm gonna have to get involved."
I'm gonna go make a fool of myself. Well, you get to that stage, it's, usually you're the last one, or anything. Slow them down, let somebody else catch up, or whatever you can do. Anything. Grab a shoelace, I don't care. Jersey, just get something to get them down, get it out of the way. But no, it's not a good feeling, because usually, like I said, you're going against one of their best players. They get paid to make other guys in the NFL miss, and not kickers who don't practice that. So it's not a great feeling.
So did you get sideswiped by some big old dude?
No, I don't. Honestly, the biggest hit I ever remember was from high school, and same thing. I did it to myself. I was running down, blocking on a play, and the running back came up the sideline or something, and I peeled back, and I think that was the hardest hit, and I did it to myself. But I don't know. I don't know. No, nothing I really remember too much.
It's good though.
Yeah, it is good, I guess. Yeah, it helps when you don't have to scramble the brains.
Which is, that's definitely a good thing. Hey, I know you guys got to run, get ready for the meet and greet and everything, but congratulations. Enjoy the night tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you.
That was Dan Carpenter joining us from Billings the other day, and what a great guy. Yeah, see, I can say nice things about the Grizz. He was fun. He was fun to chat with, and it was a good time over the weekend. So appreciate everybody we got a chance to talk with. If you missed any of those, you can go to JasonWalkerShow.com and check them all out. So there you go. Let's see here. Man, reading some disturbing stuff about Trevor Bauer, the Dodger pitcher who was almost a Met. Thank God he did not end up with the Mets. Wow. Montana Horses Magazine. All horses, all Montana. Montana Horses Magazine, packed with every wonderful, wow-worthy thing you'll want to know about all things Montana Horses. MontanaHorses.com. Proud to be partnered up with those guys. On this date, brought to you by Big Sky Printwear. We print what you wear. It is June the 30th, the final day of June. It is National Meteor Watch Day, Social Media Day as well. 1903, Wimbledon women. Dorothea Chambers beats her opponent for the first of 7 Wimbledon titles. 1908, at 41 years, 3 months, future Hall of Famer Cy Young gets his 3rd career no-hitter. Also on this date, 1908, at Wimbledon, Charlotte Cooper Sterry wins her 5th and final Wimbledon title. 1910 at Wimbledon, New Zealander Anthony Wilding beats Arthur Gore, the first of his 4 consecutive Wimbledon crowns. 1911 at the British Open, Royal St. George, Harry Vardon wins his 5th championship by 10 shots in a playoff. 1929 U.S. Open, Bobby Jones wins his 3rd U.S. Open title, a 36-hole playoff where he dominated Al Espinoza by 23 strokes in 36-hole playoff. That means they were tied going to the playoff. They played 36 holes. Jones won by 23. 1934, Detroit radio exec George Richards paid just under $8,000, $7,952.08 to buy the Portsmouth Spartans. Team was moved to Detroit to become the Lions. 1948, Bob Lemon with a no-hitter for Cleveland. 1962, LA Dodger Hall of Famer Sandy Koufax with a no-hitter, the first of his 4 career no-hitters. And is it this one? There's my Sandy Koufax autographed photo. So there you go. How cool is that? Also on this date, 1978, Willie McCovey hit his 500th home run. In 1994, Tanya Harding banned for life by the U.S. Ice Skating Federation. Happy birthday, Billy Mills, the Pine Ridge, South Dakota runner. Won gold in 1964 in the 10K. He was born in 1938. A guy we've had on this show, Ron Swoboda, New York Met, the Miracle Met, 69, born on this date, 1944, works for the Marlins now. Mike Tyson's birthday, 1966. Michael Phelps was born on this date in 1985. What has he got, 23 gold medals? Crazy.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
Hey, big thanks to all of our guests today. Travis Lulay, Dan Carpenter, Lance Hartzler joining us on short notice. Talk about NIL. If you missed anything, go to JasonWalkerShow.com. One thing we did miss, 1933 on this date, the assay office in Helena, Montana, Boise, Idaho, and Salt Lake City would close. So Helena lost its assay office. There you go. Final day of June. Happy birthday, Troy Ross. We are Troy Strong. It is his 7th birthday today. Hope you donated blood last week. Tomorrow, we are going to talk to John Burnett from the Helena Senators, and Sheriff Leo Dutton from Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Department will join us. Hope you join us as well. 4 o'clock. See you right here. Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.